What's up, guys? Welcome to Kind of Funny Screencast. I'm Tim Gettys. This is the glue, Kevin Coelho.
What's up, dude?
We got the movie bros herself, Joey Noel.
One
Plural
of the
and
bros.
singular.
I love it. I love it. Nick _Scarpino.
Hello.
Is joining us today. We got Barrett Courtney over there running the boards,
What's up?
feeling sexy, feeling fine. You can
Yeah.
tell.
Tight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You can watch this show live on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames every week, or you can watch it later on youtube.com/kindoffunny, roosterteeth.com, or listen to it by searching your favorite podcast service for Kind of Funny Screencast. It is the show on Kind of Funny where we get together to talk about movies, TV, and streaming services. Lots going on nowadays. Lots of delays, Nick. Lots of changes afoot. Why?
Because of the coronavirus.
Affecting everybody.
It's
the
terrible.
worst
It needs
thing-
to stop.
Well, not the worst thing. There's a lot of really bad things about it. But a bad thing is that currently in San Francisco, and also I guess the world, it is like the season of allergies,
It's
right?
true.
So all these motherfuckers out here are all like congested and shit. So it's like, great, we have a room full of people that are all feeling sniffy.
Oh yeah, like there's at least 5 people in the studio right now that we won't name names or point fingers that are a little sniffly biffly. I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
if they're sick, if they're allergic, or if we're all going to die of the coronavirus. Probably
We'll have to
not.
find
Though.
out.
Probably
one
not.
step at a time.
You
No
hear about
time to
that-
die is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I mean, to make the obvious joke that you said 50 other people already made, I guess we do have time to die.
We do have time until November. This, if you don't know what we're talking about, James Bond has been delayed until November.
Heartbreaker.
Many, many months. The second delay for this movie. But this one, not due to the movie not being finished, due to the coronavirus and a worry that not enough people are going to go to theaters to watch the
watch it,
movie.
yeah.
And
That didn't stop people from watching Onward yesterday. 'Cause
that is
theater
true.
was packed.
That is true.
Was it?
Yeah. There was one. I think there was like one seat next to me.
Oh.
That was it. I didn't really.
The seats in front of us were empty, but that second row. So
That second row
yeah,
sucks.
we were pretty close.
I
up
didn't
there.
realize I was sitting next to you until a good 45 minutes into the movie.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? And then I locked eyes with you to do like my creepy Nick look.
Yeah.
And then as you kind of noticed, you're like, ugh. And then the guy right next to you was really freaked out by it. Because he like I just saw the
he
head.
didn't know
I saw
that
the
we
head
were
move
together.
this way. The guy was like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "Oh, it's my friend. Never mind."
Never mind. Don't
Forget
worry
it.
about it.
Forget
Don't
it.
worry. We're
Did you,
halfway
wait,
through
did you
a kid's
tap it?
movie.
Did you say that out loud?
I just kind of mouthed it. I was like, and the guy was like, "This is really creepy," because now you're like mouthing stuff to me.
But yeah, James Bond has been delayed to November because of this. In review, the plan is it's not affected. That's obviously we're not going to review No Time to Die until November, but we are going to do the rest of them starting next week on, in review here on youtube.com/kindoffunny, starting with Casino Royale. Very excited about that. Other kind of updates I wanted to give about this stuff, about the movie industry. Universal and Disney have both come forward and been like, yo, we understand a lot of people are concerned about the delays. As of now, we are not delaying either Black Widow or Fast 9. So those would be like kind of the next big ones that might
Yeah.
get hit. We're so close to Mulan, and I'm really interested in how that's going to go because, especially with the Chinese market over there.
Yeah.
Like Mulan is poised to be like a huge mega hit.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man, this might really fuck that.
I was reading
don't
an
know.
article that they're predicting that it's going to be the biggest of 2020 so far.
Yeah,
this movie, yeah.
which granted, not that impressive of a
yeah,
feat,
yeah.
but there's a lot going into that. If you dig deeper into that article, they're talking about how like the first Mulan didn't really get a chance because like China banned it because of all the communism stuff that was happening around that time, not because of that movie, but because of choices Disney made before it. So this was like going to be like the first time Mulan was going to be able to get a full proper push, and it's like, oh shit,
Yeah.
we'll see how that happens, but. The one thing Disney did cancel was the Disney Plus event we were talking about last week.
Yeah, for
so
the
that's
UK.
pretty sad. Yeah, so the London launch event that we all expected was going to have some firm dates on Falcon and Winter Soldier and all that stuff was supposed to be yesterday, but it didn't happen. So we'll see why that information will come out later.
I want to know.
Yeah, but today we were talking about Onward, a movie we did see, a movie that did make it to theaters. Pixar's Onward. It's exciting stuff, guys. We're going to, of course, as always, start off spoiler free.
Yeah.
And then eventually we'll hit them sweet spoilers. Nick, what did you think?
I mean, no surprise. I liked this movie a lot. I was watching it. Maybe like it's a little slow going at the beginning. I think the first like 20, 30 minutes, I was like, I don't know about this one. But by the end of it, I mean, it's Pixar. They just know how to tell a really good story. And again, maybe I'm a little biased because it's a story about two brothers, and that hits close to home with me. I love my brother. It made me call him last night on the way home. He did not answer, but he called me this morning, and we had a nice 45-minute long chat. I thought it was stunning. I thought that there were parts of it that looked beautiful. And it's a fun adventure story. And if you have kids, take them to it. And if not, just go see it.
Joe.
I thought it was good. I didn't love it as much as it seemed like the rest of our crew did.
Well,
and I wonder if it's because I don't have siblings. So it doesn't resonate on the same level as it does for you guys. But it's still, I mean, it's Pixar and it's everything that they do is, I feel like, significantly better than a lot of other animated movies. Though this one did feel the most like kid-ish one that I've seen lately. I don't know if that resonates with anybody else.
This one, it's always interesting because obviously watching these movies as an adult, it's difficult to put yourself in the mindset of whether like of a child, because Pixar always manages to infuse like really adult themes into these things, and it always blows me away. Like the last one I watched was Inside Out. Was the last one that came out?
Well, it was Coco.
Yeah.
Oh, Coco, and it's oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, okay. But even, let's take Toy Story 4, for instance, right? That one is another perfect example of like, yeah, on the outside, it's a kid's movie, but really it's about moving on, and it's about finding a new meaning in life, and it's about pushing forward a whole new era of your existence on this planet. And that's like that's heavy shit for, a 10-year-old or below to deal with. But Pixar always manages, in my book, to strike that sweet spot of making a movie that a kid is visually fun for a kid, that has good moments, like this one had the pixies and all that stuff, which I could just imagine kids are gonna just love to death. But then also like hitting really close to home and causing me to have a little bit of a tear at the end of it. And that is, it's unbelievable that they can do that every single time. Mm-hmm. Like it doesn't make any sense to me that they have storytellers that are that good, that spend that much time just making sure the script hits with all the emotional beats, getting the cast they want, having the comedic beats be where they are, and just being inventive while still basically telling us kind of a story we've seen a little bit before. I mean, this is kind of like a road trip story. But they do it in such a fun way that you just, by about an hour into this, I'm like, I could watch these two guys do this forever. And it's not even the thing to me that I found striking about it was that this is maybe a minor spoiler, but the plot of the movie is very, very simple. It's not about a world-ending event. It reminded me a lot of Goonies, where if the kids don't reach the goal, it's not like all of the world is going to end. It's just going to be sad. And you're along for the ride because you kind of put yourself in their shoes of like, I would like to be a kid, going to find this underground treasure too. I had that same feeling watching this where I was like, oh man, this reminds me when I used to go hang out with my brother and like we'd go smoke weed or drink booze, like do shit we weren't supposed to do, but it was because we knew we were bonding and we were having fun. And we were on this little adventure in Riverside, California together. And that's kind of what this reminded me of. Like, there's moments where they stop and they're like, oh, we have to like one of the tropes they have to do is that the car runs out of gas. And they're like, we got to find a gas station. And they find a gas station. So they're never in like moral peril, but there is such an emotional center to this that you want to see them succeed still. And I think that's part of the fun of this is that like they're having this adventure, but in this like real life setting, but it's also this fantastical adventure. But then it's also backed up by the fact that they are fantastical creatures. And I think it's really, really cool.
You know who will never run out of gas? Kind of Funny. Thanks to your support over at patreon.com/kindoffunny. That's right. You can go there. You can get the show ad-free, or you could be a Patreon producer, just like Mohammed, Justin Toft, Das Bear Jew, Blackjack, and Jarrett Brown did. Kevin, what did you think?
I loved it. Yeah, I thought the comedy was so good from the beginning. Just throughout the whole movie, I was enjoying it. I thought that Tom Holland and Chris Pratt did such a good job as voice actors in it, and I just enjoyed it throughout. But I feel like this is the first Pixar movie where I was like, like this is aimed, like the whole story of it like is more towards my life than any other Pixar movie that has come out, where it's like it's about a father that had passed away and like these two brothers and their relationship. And it's one of those things where it's like, this is the first time in theaters where I was like fighting back tears by the end of it, like or it was like, holy shit, this hit me really hard. Yeah. Really hard. And I thought it was a fantastic movie. The way that they blended the comedy with the serious stuff, it was really, really well done. It's funny you get, like you were saying that you felt like this was more kiddie. Because like I felt like the comedy. I guess this is also like because my brother is so into magic. Like all a bunch of the stuff.
Gathering.
Magic the Gathering. That's right. Not
magician shit.
Yeah. It's one of those things where like all the jokes they were making really resonated with like stuff that he's told me through time. And
Well, there's a ton of references that are actually to Magic the Gathering,
Right.
Wizard of Oz, like a ton of different like things that they were like mentioning and calling out. It's like that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it just like all of the comedy really hit with me. I think this is gonna be really high on like my Pixar list movies because it just throughout the whole movie I was laughing my ass off. It was one of those times where I was sitting next to Paula and she was definitely looking at me like, "You're laughing too loud." It's like I can't help it.
My favorite thing was every time I would see something happen, and I'm like, "Where's the Nick laugh? There's the Nick laugh." There's about 5 Nick moments.
It's the
in this
fucking
movie.
unicorns, man. Every time the unicorns happen, I was like, God, these unicorns
hard.
They're so
funny.
good, yeah.
I
It's
thought
a dumb, obvious joke, but
I thought this movie was great. I don't think that it's top tier Pixar, but Pixar, it's kind of like MCU at this point, where it's
Yeah.
like we're talking about quality levels that are so high. As a movie, I was super impressed. I think that this kind of flips the script on traditional Pixar things, where we've kind of there's going to be the emotional beats, but this one had that build where I'm with you, where it was like the first 30 minutes, I was like,
I don't know.
this is fine. Like
Yeah.
I'm never going to think about this movie again. And then at the end, it's like, wow, they really did a good job slowly building little elements that paid off at the end. And in terms of just Pixar pushing themselves, like, you know, they have the story. We know that they're going to have the story. We know they're going to have the characters. But there's like elements that are something I'm always looking at where I'm like, all right, we have these like AAA voice actors at this point. How is that going to affect what this Pixar movie can be? Because is it going to distract me that it's Spider-Man and Star-Lord hanging out? And it doesn't.
Nope.
At no point. They just felt natural and they felt right, which I think is
Anna Lane, right?
is really impressive there.
That's
Was
the
that
mom?
who the mom was?
Julie-
Julia, yeah.
Is that the mom? That was the mom?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I was trying to figure out who that
was
was.
too.
But I do this thing with movies where I'm like, when I'm really enjoying this and it's an animated movie, I'll allow myself for 1 second to try to figure out who everyone is, and then I go, nope, forget
Just
about
stop,
it.
just watch
Yeah.
it.
Just forget
Yeah.
about it. I have no idea who the centaur guy was either.
Yeah, I don't know. But
Mel Rodriguez.
Can you click on it?
I really enjoyed the
Oh my God,
animation
Octavia Spencer was the
and
mannequin. That's
just
so
the picture
funny.
quality itself was on another level, man. Like Pixar's really, really, really outdoing themselves.
We talked about this a little bit with Toy Story 4, but it's almost too real.
The opening
Like-
scene in Toy Story 4, where with the drain and the
rain, yeah.
rain and stuff, was so real looking, and like, but it's not real looking that when you see the rest of it, you're like, oh, this doesn't add up. Somehow they make this world work where there's these like Pixar. The characters look like Pixar characters. Sure, they're trolls. Sure, they're whatever, but they're still Pixar characters.
I do
But
think-
when the cars are driving around in the streets, or whenever there's a wide shot of them in cities, it looks like it's photorealistic,
It's
and that
re-
blends
it's
so
weird.
nicely.
I do think there was a step down in quality when comparing it to Toy Story 4. I think that looked a lot prettier.
I think you're
Yeah.
insane, man. I thought
Well, I
like
just
this.
think that the textures, like when you look at the toys in Toy Story 4, like the textures look almost real with a slight like cartoonish tinge to them, where this looked to me more of an animated movie.
See, I think that's just because we're talking about toys that actually have fabric and stuff
Yeah,
on them, whereas
yeah.
this is like,
But
it's
like these
characters
people
that
have
are trolls.
skin and fur and
But
all
they're-
this stuff, and I feel like they like you didn't see that detail in fur that
Well-
we've seen before in Monsters Inc. or Monsters University.
I think we saw much more impressive versions of the fur and hair
You-
and stuff.
you
And-
have
but it's
to-
really like looking at the shirts and seeing the fuzz and all this stuff. It's like it's the little details that I'm like, Jesus fuck, this is like.
I mean, the hair alone, the hair was amazing in this. You have to imagine though,
Some good
they
hair
actually
scenes
have
in
to
this.
sit there now and probably have a meeting about how far to push the visuals. Because I have to imagine they're like, we could actually make this photorealistic if we wanted to, but that would be really uncanny valley. So
Yeah.
I wonder what their approach is to striking that balance of like, there are moments when he's in the room that it looks like a live action movie. And then you get moments where it's like, oh, okay, we're like when we're in the tavern and stuff like that, it's much more cartoonish, which you have to have, right? Because if you don't have that balance, then you start going, what that way? Well, your brain starts getting tripped out. Like when he's putting on the very first scene, so I'm not spoiling anything, but he's like putting on the sweatshirt and you're seeing the dust particles in the air. I'm like, it's almost to a point where this looks like you're trying to make this photorealistic, which I'm like, you don't need. It's kind of counterproductive for the actual fact that it's an animated movie. But like, dude, some of the stuff, like the flooring textures and all that stuff, I'm like, they're too good now at this point. Like, back it off a little bit. Let the competition catch up a little. You know what I mean?
no, I love
Like
it.
slow.
man.
It's like not to make the obvious joke, but you know, it's like when Dash is running, they're like, no, slow down, and like, and then he gets like second place, like yeah, it's second place. That's kind of where Pixar is at right now in my brain.
Love it. Yeah, I love it, man. Yeah, I don't know. I feel that the difference between this movie and a lot of the Pixar movies we've seen in recent times, like going back to what you were talking about, the kitty, or you were talking about the kitty thing, like I feel like Inside Out was a lot more kitty than this one. It dealt with like real deep shit, but I don't think it ever hit on that. Like it didn't go deep enough for me for it to be like, this is hitting on an adult level all the way.
I think a lot of the comedy that they did in Inside Out was a little bit dumbed down. Seems like an offensive term, but like I don't mean it to be. It's where it was like it's made for a younger audience with the like the idea behind it is more adult. So I think that
it's more complex. I think that's what
I'm saying. Yeah,
is like dealing with complex things. They had to kind of like meet in the middle somewhere with the comedy stuff. Whereas like with this one, I kind of feel like the story is like pretty straightforward.
Well, I mean, Inside Out was largely about depression, right? It was about like what happens when people go through
like learning to deal with your feelings.
Right,
is what it was about.
And that's deep. That's super deep. And the way they handle that, like, and made that accessible to kids of all ages is unbelievably impressive. This, I think, was a little less. I mean, it was still, you're dealing with loss. You're dealing with loss of a father and growing up without a father. But that, I think, is a little bit easier for kids to wrap their heads around, I would imagine. But still, again, it's like I always come back to like some of the greatest animation is always that nice balance of, hey, there's kids love it because there's lots of stuff, lots of meat on the bone for them. But then as an adult, I'm sitting there going like, I mean, I literally left and the first thought was I got to call my brother. Like, I'm a bad brother. I got to call my brother. And that's like totally, I mean, and I'm, that's such an amazing thing they can do. I'm always blown away by, and I was actually not even wanting to watch that movie last night. I'm like, I'm tired. People are getting sick all over the place. This is the last thing I want to do. And an hour in, I'm like, fuck. Yeah. Like, they're so good at it.
This is yet another piece of evidence for me that like Pixar trailers just don't do it for me because it's like it's not enough time to like give a shit or care or understand what the like resonance is going to be.
Yeah.
But then I watch this, I'm like, I fucking love it. There you go. Soul, same thing. Look at that trailer that played before this. I was kind of like, I could not give a fuck less. That movie's going to be great.
Yeah.
I feel like Soul looks way better than Onward looks. Like
in trailers?
The trailers where we're seeing like the dude before he dies looks like that. Like that's where it's like I guess there are a lot of wide shots, so we're seeing a lot of those bigger shots that are very complex and have a lot of going on. But I feel like that movie has the animation's going to look prettier than Onward.
I am shocked that you don't think Onward's as impressive.
I just think that compared to Toy Story 4, which is the last movie, like. That movie seems like they put a lot more time and effort getting those textures like so like realistic. Yeah.
Interesting.
You're watching the Soul trailer.
Yeah,
right
look
now.
at that. Like that looks.
I can give it to.
I mean, it's all they're at the height of their game right now. And again, this to me looks.
I mean, they're just at the height of the newest release, man. You know what I mean? Pixar keeps pushing it, and it's great. Interestingly enough, I also feel like DreamWorks does a really good job pushing the
last
level
DreamWorks
animation.
movie that came out.
The thing is, like,
How to Train Your Dragon 3?
CG animation at this point is kind of like finally hitting a point where other studios are taking chances and doing different styles and stuff. We saw it with Spider-Verse. You see, like, with a lot of those, cool. like even the Peanuts movie, like the Charlie Brown movie. Sure. It's like it has a unique look to it, and like the SpongeBob movie that's coming out now, right? It's like at least, and Leica's always doing crazy stuff, but it's like I like seeing people be like, all right, let's not all just try to look exactly like Pixar movies because that's not where they're going to succeed. Because Pixar has that shit down to it, the science, But it is weird that we're getting so many Pixar movies like back to back to back, like it feels like because of whatever delays that were going on. But like having Toy Story 4 and this both in this year, and we're getting Soul like next year, like they're already promoting it. It's like it does feel a little bit overwhelming.
I like it.
Yeah,
I'm all in. It's Pixar's cool. Like I remember the previous time we got multiple Pixar movies in one year was The Good Dinosaur.
Yeah,
and I was not a fan of The Good Dinosaur. Although God, the water looked good in that.
Few people were a big fan of that one. You see it, Nick?
I know. I never caught it.
I never did either.
Yeah, it's not.
No, and it's interesting too because like I mean obviously I'm not the target demographic with this, but I haven't seen a ton of promotion for Onward, and I mean I'm sure they're pushing it in different venues like.
Disney Channel.
Disney Channel, yeah, for sure. And I'm sure you're seeing probably promo and stuff on Disney Plus, but like, it's just one of those things. Like, I would if you guys if we weren't doing this review, I totally would have. This would have come and gone for me. I probably wouldn't have watched it till it hit Netflix, and that's sad because I think seeing this movie on the big screen it doesn't make all the difference. It's going to be a good movie whether you're watching it on your phone or on the big screen. But like, the level of artistry that goes into some of this stuff is just so freaking impressive to see on a giant screen.
Yeah,
and the sound was amazing as well.
It was really great sound mix. We watched it at
always the best.
As always.
Yeah.
You guys ready to get into a little spoiler talk?
Sure.
Before we do that, Do you guys want to talk about what happened right before the movie?
Oh, yeah. That's a good call.
Yeah, so right before the movie happened, we had a Simpsons short.
Oh, I
It
thought
was
you were going to talk
promoting-
about how Gia and I waited for hot dogs for 45 minutes.
Oh
and
man,
they
that was
came.
really disappointing.
And then Gia and I bonded. I was like, I'm like, you're a curmudgeon just like me when it comes to this stuff. And she was like, yes. And it was great. I heard your woman use the term, what's the time frame on this?
Oh, yeah.
In
Very
regard
seriously.
to a
She didn't
16-year-old
do a
across.
hand motion, but it was almost there.
She was like, you told me the hot dogs would be ready in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I came back in 20 minutes. And the girl was like, I'm sorry, man. I don't know what to tell you. And Gia goes, okay, so what's the time frame then?
Yeah.
What are we talking
And the
here?
woman said,
the context,
I don't know.
The context of this was we went and we bought 2 hot dogs
was so
and
amazing.
icy for her.
Yeah.
And then they went and they're like, oh, sorry, we don't have the hot dogs. We have to refund you. So we had to like do a whole process to get a refund. It was just like, all right, but we were totally cool about it. And
So
they're like,
funny.
what, are there going to be hot dogs? Yes. How long? 10 minutes. I'm like, all right, cool.
Cool.
And we go into the theater,
They were
and
not
on the theater screen, a thing pops up that's like, you can order food straight to your seat. Go for it. Just use that. But I was like, fuck it. We're going to do it. 10 minutes have passed, and I pull it up, go through the whole order process, and then it just goes, sorry, can't do this right now. I was like,
Just bring it to me when it's ready.
so then Gia went out, and that's when she saw you.
And they were literally sizzling on a little rotator. She's like, they're not ready yet. I'm like, first off, how do you know that? Second off, and Kevin and I both confirmed, hot dogs don't really need to be cooked. They're by the time I get to the thing, it's going to be cold anyway. These things go cold in 5
Also,
seconds.
they have
Just
a
keep
microwave.
pulling
They
off
have a
the thing.
microwave right there.
I never got the hot dog.
I love
last
the hot
night.
dogs.
That's spoilers on that one.
That's fair.
But yeah, so we saw a shit ton of trailers.
What was the Simpsons?
Before the
short?
Simpsons thing, do you guys want to talk
Oh, you
about any of
didn't see
those
that?
trailers?
I
I
see the
didn't watch
trailers.
any of the trailers.
Because we were
I
waiting for
walked
fucking
in-
hot dogs outside.
I walked
Yeah.
in. I caught the last trailer and then the Simpsons thing. and
Watching
I-
kids' movies is always interesting.
I
'cause
forget about it every time
You just
we go.
see like a different, vast array of different
Artemis
experiences.
Fowl 19.
I saw
I saw
Artemis
a little
Fowl
bit of
which
Artemis
honestly
Fowl.
looks pretty cool,
Right?
No,
Oh.
dude, they
Hard pass.
ruined that book.
Really?
I don't know the book.
It's like if they
These are
adapted
really
Harry
fun, too.
Potter and like Harry's parents were still alive and the Dursleys were like really cool. That's how fucked up. Like
I don't like
they
that.
they heard the premise of Artemis Fowl but then didn't read the book. That's like how different and weird. Like they have fucked up Artemis.
They've been
Fowl.
working on this for so long.
I
Looks
know,
like
and it's
Men in
fucking
Black,
wild that
but
they
kids.
changed so much.
Slash Spy
I'm
Kids.
not happy. It's not cool.
Yeah, obviously I'm not the target demographic. I never read the book, but that trailer didn't do it for me. What'd you like about it?
What's his name? The dad guy. Whose name? Yeah, I wanted to call him Will Ferrell. I just really like him. He was really good in The Gentleman,
He
and I was
really
like,
good in the
oh,
job.
I gotta watch
I kind
that.
of like this. In
You
this
really should.
spy.
Yeah, I'll see it,
Oh,
I'll check
it's
it out.
so good.
Is it good?
It's so good.
It's Guy Ritchie back in like
Yeah.
Guy Ritchie Super Prime,
Like coming back to Guy Ritchie
like Snatch.
1.0. Good.
Yeah.
I like it. With Matthew McConaughey.
Also,
Yeah.
can we talk about that after the Trolls World Tour trailer? Blessing was like, I'm so excited.
He's still excited after that.
He
See it
is.
again.
I largely missed all of these. I came at the tail end of the Artemis Fowl trailer, and then I think there was a couple more. I think the Soul trailer happened when it came. I went to go wash my hands and go to the bathroom so I could come back and eat my chicken tenders. That's right. I'm fucking eating chicken tenders like a peasant because I wanted
of a
those
hot
goddamn
dog.
hot dogs.
Yeah.
But they just wouldn't give them to me.
Chicken tenders are the peasant option, not the hot dog.
The hot dog is
It's
salty
classy.
goodness, Joe. Okay, it is a guilty pleasure, and I love it.
It's
They're
hot
always
dog.
terrible. The bread's always terrible.
But hot dogs are definitely top tier movie food.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like you
It's-
see me eating a
it's
hot dog.
hot dogs,
yeah,
and then
I'm gonna
right
get
above
my
that,
fucking
mini
Bugatti
pizzas.
afterward. Exactly.
Where do you put the nachos?
Nachos are never in
No,
movies. They
nachos
get
are
everywhere.
Nachos
are
are
low
almost-
because you don't want to
No,
be dipping
that's number
stuff
3.
in the dark. It's scary.
It's scary. You get a trail of cheese all the way up to your forehead.
There was also a SpongeBob trailer for.
Was there?
Sponge on the Run? Is that what it's called?
I forget.
So I mean, you being our SpongeBob guy.
Yeah, I like the animation. I think like the way that they're adapting it from like, at least from the parts of the show that I watched, like back in when the show was starting. Like I haven't watched the show regularly since 2004. Maybe
Still going on?
Oh yeah, it's somehow still a show. And like the way they translated like the animation style of like that classic 2D SpongeBob animation humor to this like 3D animated stuff, I really enjoy. The one weird thing though is like the whole premise is he's searching for Gary, and that's just like the premise of an episode that came out like 16 years ago. It's like, oh, so we're doing this episode.
The thing that's weird to me about the SpongeBob movie franchise is there's been like a bunch of them, at
and
this
they
point.
like are always touted as like the first movie,
and
really
it's like
fucking
different art
weird.
styles for every single one. And
Yeah.
I would say every art style they've shown has been super impressive. Like this looks fantastic.
Yeah, it does.
But the last one they did was like SpongeBob in real life, and even that one looked unnecessarily good.
Yeah, even though that I think I never saw that movie, but it looks really bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Shout out to the first SpongeBob movie, the actual first movie, because that was a good movie, and that was the last time SpongeBob was good.
Then so there was Trolls. Didn't like that at all. That's not true. I don't want to say at all, but
It's gonna be a greatest hits like musical tour.
I don't know if it is. That's my worry is that like I
Really?
feel like I hope that there's a lot more than what the trailer showed.
Are you
And my
gonna see
worry,
it?
no.
Okay.
Are you sure?
But if it ended up being that thing,
What if Gary wants to go see it?
no.
We can all dress
You
up
What
as
if
and Gary-
trolls.
Blessing?
What
What
if
if
we all-
Blessing is like Tim? I really want to go see it, and nobody else will see it with me.
I'd see
And
it with Bless.
Okay.
Like Bless,
And Gary?
Bless gets that.
And then we
no,
do a-
no Gary. No Gary.
I'm trying to think of what we could do with Screencast in the name. No, I don't know.
Trolls. No.
Yeah.
Trolls
not gonna work.
Screencast World Tour.
And get the McElroy brothers
go.
out here,
you.
who are starring in that movie.
What a fucking weird world we live in. But then yeah, Simpsons short.
How did this happen?
I mean, hey, like so normally
Well, they
Pixar movies
own-
have Pixar shorts, right?
Right.
For Coco, they had that Frozen thing. Like, well, fuck it, we have Simpsons now.
We own the Simpsons
Let's make
now,
a fun
right?
little Maggie short.
Dude, it was great.
I loved it.
It's so funny.
It was,
I liked it.
It was
I
really
don't have
good.
any touchstone to The Simpsons and never watched it. And I was like, oh, this is like kind of endearing, which is weird.
I feel like this is made for you specifically, because this has to be like to tell audiences, hey, we have 27 seasons of this on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
You should watch it. Maybe it's family friendly. Maybe it's not.
It's definitely not.
I know, but they made it seem that way,
God bless the
They
Simpsons.
did.
except for the panty scene, which I thought was a little disturbing.
Yeah, you know what? This was not family friendly at all. There was definitely allusions to alcohol.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was a weird.
When she
I thought
starts
it was a
chugging
good,
the milk.
I was telling Kevin before the show. I thought it was a good balance between Simpsons humor and like Steamboat Willie short humor.
Yeah.
and I thought that was like impressive for how I've personally felt about the Simpsons for a very long time, and for them to like bring it under Disney in a short before a Pixar movie and be like, oh, this was actually quite enjoyable. So
It
shout
ending
out.
with the Gracie Films thing, but with Mickey in the audience, I was like, this is something I never thought we'd see.
Oh my god, that
I'm
broke
enjoying
my
it quite a
brain. I
bit.
was like, why is Mickey in the fucking audience? I didn't put two and two together that Fox is now owned by Disney.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But like even when it started and it showed the Mickey thing and it turned into Homer and two donuts, it was like, oh, what is happening? What is
Yeah.
this? What world?
I like it. I hope
No, I
that they
like
do
it too.
more
It's
cool
cool,
things
yeah.
like that. Like, I wonder if they'll ever. Remember when they used to do that? No, they didn't. Forget. I was about to say the one-shot stuff for MCU, but they never actually did that. They were just going to, but they should.
Yeah, they
MCU
really
should
should.
have little shorts before the movies themselves. I'd be
I'd
fucking
be
in.
super
A
into
dope
it.
little Spider-Man short.
Yeah,
That'd be the
A little
shit.
something.
Just
Even
go back
if
to
it was
the-
animated, like,
Yeah,
but
just go back to like the early '90s style Spider-Man and just
Oh,
redo
man.
one of those. That'd be dope.
That would be really cool. All right, let's get into some spoiler talk about Onward.
We're in spoiler territory, right?
We are now in full spoiler territory.
I was so not looking forward to the movie, obviously. I'm like, I'm tired on or whatever. The trailers didn't really sell it for me. The first 5 minutes and how they explain that magic has gone away, I thought was fucking genius.
It's really cool.
The fact that they were just like, magic's really hard, but you know it's not hard? Someone invented electricity. The guy's like, oh, this is way easier. And they're like, oh, we don't want to fly anymore because our wings hurt. Oh, we got a plane now. I was like, that's genius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's
It sold the
amazing.
premise very,
very
well.
well for me. And then, of course, you know, you see the kid muddle around. You're seeing some of the story beats what you've seen before, right? He's a dork. He doesn't understand how to talk to people. He doesn't have a very good, you know, he didn't have a dad growing up, so he didn't have a good, strong male role model or whatever. So he can't figure out how to talk to the other dorks at school. I was like, okay, I'm getting kind of bored. And then I was like, the Chris Pratt character, I'm like, this is kind of an annoying character. I wish this was a friend. I don't know why they made it the brother character.
I loved it from the beginning.
I was like, it's kind
Really?
of weird. I was like, it's weird that he's the older brother, but he's into the nerdy shit. You don't normally see that. Normally, the older brother's like a little bit more responsible, and the younger kid's into the nerdy shit. This was kind of a role reversal there. It's kind of throwing me off a little bit. The mom was really, really nice. I'm like, this is like, okay. This kid doesn't really have that many problems with his life, other than he can't get people to come over for his birthday party. But it also seems like the other dorks at the school would have totally come over for his birthday party. So I'm like, what's the problem here? What's happening here? And then the stick comes out, and I was like, okay, I'm kind of mildly into this. It wasn't until they started going on the adventure that I was like, this is starting to work for me. Probably when they got to the Magic Tavern, the tavern where they reached the Manticore.
The Manticore
who was
Tavern.
Octavia Spencer, is that who that is?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, this is starting to work for me here. And then I started seeing sort of like what I would imagine is really the craft of like of the Pixar folks, which is really that like laying that strong foundation in the story to have those beats pay off later. Because when he starts doing the magic, I was like, I think I see where this is going. And then when he gets to the part at the end where he goes, no, you're gonna go talk to Dad. I'm gonna go take care of this dragon, and he uses every skill that he's learned. I was like, it's the final boss of video games.
The moment when he has the list,
it's so well done,
checking off the list. I was just like, saw this coming, and they check. I'm like, yeah, totally saw it coming. Oh, we're getting the flashbacks. Cool. He gets like the third check, and I'm like, why am I feeling this right now? God, I saw it. Oh my God! Yeah. And then the fourth, you're like, fuck, man, like they just get you, and it's like that it's good when it's like it doesn't need to catch you off guard to get you. It's like even when you see it coming, you still get freaking hit by it. Like that's some Pixar magic.
Yeah, I mean that the last beat of that where he's like, no, you're gonna go talk to Dad because you're gonna get to say goodbye.
What a moment!
Oh my gosh, so good.
I got chills right now. Yeah. Jesus, but also I love that the spells that he learns as it goes through. I don't like fantasy stuff. I don't like magic like that. It's just it's not interesting to me. So. Seeing these characters do it throughout, I was like, I don't care about this, but they totally pushed through. And at some point, like as he's learning spells, I was like, oh, I'm super into this. Like him walking across the
that
thing
shit was
and, like,
intense.
losing the rope. It's like
that was super intense.
They did some cool stuff with this that built on itself.
Well, that's the character animation of the brother where it would punch him and he kind of starts crying and he's so scared that at any moment his brother could fall and die.
It's dope.
And it's just like it hits you and it makes it so tense.
But the build up of him like go see the dad, and then when the dragon forms and it's a stone dragon built from a bunch of stuff, and that freaking face pops off.
That's so good.
Such a great use of comedy, but it's still scary in the scene.
Yeah.
And it's a cool fight scene, but it builds into the story. It's like that. Everything came together in that moment. So great because when he's using all the different spells and like he's like Doctor Strange portal stepping on the air and stuff, and like it's like how did this build this well? Like. I wish I could go back in time to talk to myself 20 minutes in this movie and be like, where do you think this is going? Because it's about to fucking really add up. I wouldn't have believed it.
But I think you nailed it, right? It's like a lot of these beats you do see coming. The second they started learning magic, I was like, okay, this is going to play into like, when they talked about the curse, I was like, okay, he's going to have to at least figure out how to use the lightning spell to like beat the final thing or overcome the final thing. I knew it was going to happen. I knew all this was going to happen. The way it played out was almost, I could have probably sat and written how it was going to play out, and it still fucking hit. It was still well done.
I thought there were two moments. The like one that I didn't see coming and one that I was like, oh, this is definitely going to happen. And it was satisfying when it did. When he got the splinter in his hand and like they had just said like, oh, like every fiber has magic. I was like, oh, he's going to get the splinter and be able to use that to like save the day. And then the moment I didn't see coming was Guinevere getting destroyed, and oh my God, the way that was like animated was so perfect. The tickets, the light on the painting like shining, and the way even him putting the stone there was just like, oh no. But
I mean, they literally
the older brother's van. There's a moment where they sacrifice the van, and it is his best friend.
The only thing that the older brother was excited to talk to the dad about was the van. So like that was his big accomplishment.
But when this motherfucking van, the back wheels like pop and it starts galloping like a horse.
It was well done.
It was fucking epic, man. Yeah. Like that was a get hype moment for sure. And this movie had like 3 get hype moments, which is like I didn't expect that from this. But
I also really enjoyed the Manticore just throughout. Like her going from like, hey man, that was me a long time ago. Like, you get sued for that shit now. I'm just trying to manage
shareholders.
The shit.
Yeah, I got people.
And to go from they're pulling up to it and it's all dark and creepy, and then you open it and you realize they've turned it into a Chuck E.
TGIF. Yeah, Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah. So good because you can totally like. I feel like that fits so well in the world of like how they addressed magic and technology and like just the evolution of everything. Real good.
Yeah.
I also liked her being like the kind of handling the fight from that last fight at the end. I thought was so well done, where it had levels to it, where it's like, oh, the Manticore is fighting, oh, the Manticore is winning, and it looks like it's gonna be over. No, now the mom's coming in to save the day, and then it's like, no, now this the main character's coming in. I thought that was so much fun.
Yeah, it was really dope. Any other closing thoughts on Onward?
No, I mean, I think it's just one of those. Go see it. Absolutely, go see it. Why not?
Absolutely, Kevin. Do you want to pull up the questions you have?
Yeah. Just sorry, I did have Onward or last thought on Onward. Where it's just like I've never had this experience before, where like the Pixar movie was made in kind of like my life experience, and like damn, it wasn't like shocking and kind of incredible to like see stuff onto there. It's like fuck, I can really relate to some of these things. It's just an interesting experience, and I'm very much thinking of taking my little brother. It actually it gets so intense that it's like, I don't know if I want to have that moment with him in there where we're sitting there and there's the montage and it's like that. I'm curious to see how that all goes.
Well, it also bothers me that Tom Holland's character looks exactly like your little brother to a point that's distracting.
Yeah.
But to be fair, Kevin looks a lot like the Minotaur, or the Centaur.
Okay, hold on. Before we move on, for Tom's spoilers.
There were multiple moments in this that I laughed out loud. Every time they fucking cut to the trash panda unicorns, it's the dumbest joke, and it got me
It's
every
so
time.
good.
When they go into the cave and they flashlight and they're like, and they just run around. I'm like, God, that's so funny. The fact that these mythical creatures that are like
so
supposed to be like the
majestic.
height of the majestic magic are just these fucking raccoons like sorting through people's trash. Hilarious. But when he walks out and he takes his hat off and he just lets his hair flow into the wind, I was like, that is Kevin Coelho.
Yeah.
Right
it was
there.
beautiful.
And I laughed so hard. And you knew why I was laughing because you're like,
course.
Nick thinks that's Kevin.
Everyone
Yeah,
when that
we
scene
all
happened,
know.
I was like, all right, great. I talked to Nick about this.
No, but what I love about it is like that is another example of a perfect Pixar scene where it's like this scene is funny because it's being shown in a funny way and he's doing a funny thing, but it's also a character that they built up well in this movie where it's like you get his perspective and it builds into the whole story of like he's running now. He's not using his
car.
Police car, and it's just like how the fuck did this work on every level?
And by the way, he's the antagonist of the film, which is interesting, and that speaks another one a bit to the strength of the film. Like he's one of the guys trying to stop the characters from achieving their goal, but you empathize with him because he's just trying to protect his girlfriend's kids. He's one of the guys that you actually like you feel for because he's just trying to figure out how to be the stepdad, I guess. And he's a good dude, and he's just trying to keep these kids out of moral peril. But like, you also want them to get away from him. And that scene where he like has to climb over the rocks, he's like, "What the hell are these kids doing?" And like, "Oh, this is great."
Here's something that blows my mind. We just spent 37 minutes talking about this movie, and somehow this movie worked well enough that we just spent 37 minutes talking. We haven't mentioned the fact that one of the main characters of this movie that is seen for half the movie is a pair of pants.
That's right.
Like seriously, I think that like,
and the comedy
Pixar
with
took this as a challenge where they're just like, "Yo, we could make anything. We made toys characters. We made monsters characters. We could do it.
We made emotions
what about,
characters.
Yeah, we made emotions. What about pants? Can we do that? They fucking did.
They did it.
Do you
No,
think
I
they're gonna sell a
challenge.
little toy that's action figure on the bottom and just stuffed little guy on the top?
Yes, Disney will do it all.
Yeah.
I challenge anyone to go as that for Halloween. Just try to figure out how to go as just pants for Halloween.
I don't think that's physically possible.
Wow.
You can
Those
figure it
are
out.
big pants.
You figured out how to disappear on camera.
I did.
Blew
I
Greg
could
Miller's
definitely
mind.
disappear with just be pants on camera. Yeah, I can figure that out for sure.
I'll believe it when I don't see it.
Oh shit. But yeah, when they first showed the pants, even in the trailer, I was like, how long could they keep that up in the movie?
Yeah.
Like they keep it up the entire time, and it never gets old. Like
Not only
it's
does it
just-
not get
it's
old,
so
it
weird.
plays into them like beating the final challenge.
Yeah.
So
We're like,
weird, man.
okay, that was genius. Also, shout out to the giant Cheeto. Now, here's my question: if the magic goes bad, the spell wears off. But if if you do the magic correctly, the enlargement spell just sticks around, right? Because he doesn't have to enlarge that stick every single time, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
I think, yeah. As long as he casts the spell correctly.
It just stays.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was
And-
like, does he have to fucking keep the splinter in his hand so he doesn't lose it?
Fuck, I forgot what I was going to say. What'd you
Was it
just
about
say?
pants?
No, I think it was, I can't remember. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Good movie. Really
Good
enjoyed
movie.
it.
Go watch it.
Yeah.
Bring your friends. Maybe don't bring your family unless you're prepared to get real emotional with
Real
them.
emotional.
Before you bring in any of that, do you guys want to talk about anything you've been watching?
I watched Lock and Key. I didn't finish it, but that's because it's not good.
Yeah.
It's really
bummer.
sad.
I watched
yeah.
the first episode. I was like, well, I don't like this kid.
Yeah.
And it's not the kid's fault. It's just,
I
just don't like
it's
the
just
story.
super unfortunate because Lock and Key is possibly my favorite comic book Shout out to Jay Fitz for bringing that to my attention. But it's like I enjoyed it so much. I have the deluxe like hardcover editions, and like I have been going back through them, and they make so many changes to the story where it's like, why would you make changes? Like the way that it goes in the book is so good, but you guys have altered a whole bunch of stuff, and it's just like you guys don't understand the characters and what their problems were. You're just kind of like, oh, the mom kind of develops a drinking problem. Well, let's do that. And it's just like, no, that's not, like, that was her dealing with the death of her husband. And it's such a disappointment because the aesthetics are there, and the way they use a bunch of the keys are like, it's so cool and well done, but it's just like the story seems way more hollow, and it's just devastating. Yeah.
Damn, devastating.
Yeah. I love this franchise, not franchise. This
Comic
IP.
book?
IP.
Yeah.
I watched the first 2 episodes of Dave.
Oh,
I got a
Dicky
notification that it
Dicky
came
show.
out.
How
yeah.
is it?
Oh, it's fantastic.
I gotta watch
It's
it.
exactly what
what
that
you
trailer
think.
looks like. But man, the cameos, they go there. They just fucking do it.
I love that Andrew Santino's in it as like the main character.
The cast of characters so far is awesome, and the way that they use cameos is sparing and effective. And it's just one of those things where I'm like, damn, you're living your best life, little Dicky. You do you. I can't wait for the next episodes. Keep it up, baby. Let's go.
I watched Zombieland Double Tap.
Oh, all
which
right.
I was like, oh, I forgot this was available, and I rented it, and I fucking loved it. That series is so fun.
It's very good.
And so like it's largely based off of the strength of the actors. You got Woody Harrelson, you got Emma Stone. They're great. Rosario Dawson joins the cast in this. At one point, this is a spoiler for it, but it's in the trailer. Luke Wilson and the guy from Silicon Valley come in, and they play doppelgangers.
It's so good.
Woody Harrelson.
It's so good.
And Jesse Eisenberg, and it's fucking hilarious.
I do think
definitely
that
worth a rental.
There's one character in there that was just like, why would you make this character so absolutely useless?
Oh, Zoe Deutsch?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking hilarious.
But like, she's cool, and it would have been funny if
Comedic
she.
relief.
Yeah, I just think it would have been a little bit better if she was also really, really good at killing zombies.
I mean, they could have
Instead,
done.
she's just like, I've been living in a fridge at a mall.
The movie is a lot more like.
Let's
kind
have
of,
sex.
Yeah.
That really is her character.
There's a few. There's the movie doesn't necessarily have. It kind of meanders a little bit where they're just like, oh, this is happening here and this is happening here, and then it gets kind of to the main story. But it's still super fun because it's basically like, I mean, it's very much self-aware. Like at one point, he's reading a Walking Dead comic book, and he's like, huh, that's really scary. Not realistic though, because like in their world, like the humans aren't that dangerous. Everything's a little bit kind of crazy and fun and
Kooky.
Yeah, kooky is a great word for it. But I liked it. I recommend it. I think it's really fun.
I just think if they had made a small change to her character, the movie would have been arguably as good as the first one. But like because of that, it's just not. It doesn't hit as hard.
JoJo.
The only thing I've watched is I watched Ronnie Chang's comedy special.
How was it?
I thought it was funny.
Yeah?
I don't watch a ton of comedy specials, so I don't know that I can like rank it or like compare it to anything. But I really liked him in Crazy Rich Asians and stuff like that. And so I was like, yeah, I'll give this a shot to like kind of have on the background as I was cooking and stuff like that. I think it's funny.
I saw Alana Glazier's stand-up special. She's one of the Broad City girls, and it's on Amazon Prime. It was absolutely horrible.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was like a perfect example of like, oh, you don't have a special. You're just up there talking.
Yeah.
Great.
Speaking
Cool.
of horrible things that we watched, I watched Ma on HBO. Not worth watching. Don't
It's
watch Ma.
a lot.
But it's just like feel like it's.
It's a
very-
weird story
it's like
for
empty,
sure.
Where it's like what? Why? What is the? Okay, you're getting revenge, but like, you're just a crazy person.
Well, you're getting revenge on the wrong people.
Also,
Which like I get builds into like a bigger story. of,
yeah,
like,
but like also like this is unrealistic. No way people would be like, I'm down to hang out, especially after what happens in the first like 5
Yeah.
minutes of them hanging out. Like if
So
someone
crazy.
pulls a gun, it's like I'm never gonna be here again. See you guys later.
But if you're also in like the middle of nowhere, it's like that's maybe not the weirdest thing you've ever seen.
I guess. I guess.
Before-
well, then also forces someone to strip fully nude before being like, oh, the gun's fake. Like I'm not gonna go hang out there ever again.
I would never hang out.
I have one more movie I
Ever
wanna
again.
talk
But real
about.
quick, I just want to say because I don't want to just always shit on stand-up specials because there are some good ones. Taylor Tomlinson, she won like Last Comic Standing or whatever a couple years back. 25-year-old white girl. A lot of jokes are just about being a 25-year-old white girl, but I was like, oh, this is pretty funny throughout. Like the entire hour, I was kind of laughing. It wasn't the best thing I've ever seen, but like I'm like, okay, next time you do a special, I'm gonna watch it. So that's on Netflix.
In the last movie, I don't know if you've talked about this in the last week that I was gone, but Horse Girl.
Oh yeah, I was like so mad that you weren't here last week to talk about it.
Horse Girl's fucking weird.
It's so weird, but like the kind of weird that like I think you should watch.
Yeah, it like pays off at the end where it's like
Yeah.
satisfying in a very very weird unique way.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of Donnie Darko.
Oh, I get that.
Yeah,
Vibe.
but I actually like it way more than I like Donnie Darko, just because the ending of Donnie Darko always pisses me off.
Yeah.
Kev,
Yeah.
what's the little Patreon questions?
Well, really quick, before we do that, I'm going to tell you guys what is out on streaming platforms. Right now on Netflix, we've got Goodfellas and a lot more stuff. So you guys should Google it and see what is out in your regions, because there is a lot of good stuff coming out on Netflix right now. Amazon Prime, there's a movie called The Cooler, which I wish Nick was here to talk about, because I'm sure he's seen it. It's a weird, interesting movie. It's like an indie movie about this guy who is hired by casinos to like go and
William
just
H. Macy.
Yep. Go walk around and like he's essentially bad luck. So if someone's winning really hard, he will go and stand by them.
That's so funny. Alec Baldwin.
Yeah,
Also in it?
I think he's like the guy that runs the casino.
Yeah.
But like he's like super depressed and wants to leave and quit, and he kind of the casino arranges like a woman to like kind of trick him into being like in a relationship with him, which makes him happy, and that kind of his weird powers now are kind of flipped.
Oh.
So now when he's happy, people are winning. So it's
interesting.
It's an interesting movie that I haven't seen in a long time, but I remember enjoying. On Hulu, we have Up in the Air.
Oh, that's
I don't know if you guys have ever watched that.
No,
George
I never
Clooney,
did.
Anna Kendrick.
Yeah, it's really good. And then out in movie theaters near you, we have Onward, The Way Back with one Janina Kamakar, our friend.
I want to go see it really bad.
Yeah, I really want to go see it. Actually, this next movie I also really, really want to go see. Emma is out.
Oh yeah.
That looks really
We should go to
good.
movies next week.
We should. Last week, did we ask them for topics? Because it didn't seem like we did.
We asked them for like Marvel topics.
Yeah.
They did not write about that. But Colton Nestler says, why do you think Bob Iger stepped down with less than a year left in his role as CEO? You can't say he led Disney astray with year-over-year market gains.
I don't know. I mean, this is one of those ones I looked into a bit. It definitely could be a Me Too situation, or it could just be, just the way things have been working out. There's been a lot of changes, obviously, with Disney in the last year, and he has been planning to leave. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that it was just like, oh, hey, things are
going
that
really
he needs
smoothly.
to do. Yeah, it's like we're good. It's better to move on sooner than later in order to like get things moving.
It just seems interesting whenever these things happen and like there's not a lot of dialogue of why they happen.
But I mean, but that's the thing with this, where it's like,
I'm done with this.
We already knew he was leaving.
Yeah.
So it's like, how much more do they need to say? They've already said stuff before.
Sure.
So it happening early. It's like it was always within the next year. It was never like at the end of the year. So.
Yeah, and he was supposed to. I read up a bit about it too, like where he was supposed to leave actually a couple of years ago, and then they extended his time because of the Fox takeover.
Merger,
Yeah.
So I think there are just some thoughts about like since that's kind of over and dealt with, like he hasn't fully left, like he's still going to be like a board
Consultant.
person or something or another for like the next year and a half. But yeah, his current role, he's like leaving in the next couple months or whatever. So.
For next week at the bronze topic, let me get your thoughts on The Outsider, which is the main topic for next week's screencast. The Outsider ends this Sunday, and we're going to sit together and discuss just our overall thoughts and spoilers on The Outsider. So give me your tweet size. Remember, tweet size. Don't make them too long on The Outsider on the bronze topic for next week.
And until next week, thank you very much for joining us. We will see you at the movies.
Go watch Onward.